Hi, I'm Sydney Roell with the W, reporting from Westlake High School with an update on the murder of math teacher Kenneth Amon, who was found dead in the DARE office of the school on Monday, May 21st at 6:30 a.m. He was found by media teacher Claudia Abate. The 911 call was made by Westlake High School principal Keith Schenker. The FBI issued warrants for several suspects like Justin Dupree, Brian McClintock, Elizabeth Melito, Sarah McFadden, and Skylar Smith. A baseball bat that was covered in Elizabeth Melito's fingerprints was found at the crime scene. FBI then discovered that Melito and Amon owned an oil company together. Melito deposited $15,000 into her bank account on May 18th. On that same day, $15,000 was withdrawn from her bank account. 2 days later,
Bob, what are you doing?
my God. Hi, Bob. Thank you, Bob. 2 days later, Melito bought a one-way plane ticket to London, but missed the flight. The FBI arrested Melito for the murder of Amon on Wednesday, June 6th.
You have the right to remain silent.
No, this is not happening. No.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. I have just read to you.
FBI agents Emily Sardo, Riley Neglia, and Brian Sheehan held a press conference at Westlake High School on Monday, June 6th, to discuss the details of the murder. I'm Sydney Roell here with the W, and I'm here with FBI agents Emily Sardo, Riley Neglia, and Brian Sheehan, who we're going to ask a few questions about the murder at Westlake.
What kind of evidence did you collect that pointed to Miss Melito as the murderer?
Well, as we were doing our investigation, we found out that as we did a thorough search of the crime scene, there was actually soil from where she lived, Fairfield County, that helped point us into the direction of Miss Melito. And then her fingerprints were actually on the murder weapon that was left at the crime scene. And then over time, as we got search warrants to go through her personal belongings and records, we found out that Mr. Amon had stole $15,000 out of her bank account, and she was not very happy about that.
Why did Melito murder Amon?
Miss Melito and Mr. Amon were in an oil company business together. So Mr. Amon took $15,000 out of her bank account.
What was the case for arresting Melito?
Like I just said, we had all the evidence that pinned up against her, and there were actually multiple witnesses that had shown that she had gotten into an argument with Mr. Amon before that. Mr. Amon had taken the money from her account. She was trying to flee the country. She purchased a one-way ticket to London about 2 days after the murder, but she tried to play it off as if it didn't mean to happen, so she missed her flight. But when it comes down to it, we had all the evidence to lock her up.
What was the connection between Amon and Melito?
Miss Melito and Mr. Amon were in an oil business together, and they also worked together, so they had a close connection, but they got in several arguments due to the business they ran together, and the $15,000 that he took really made her angry.
Is there anyone else tied to the murder?
Nobody specifically that would have enough evidence to put them away, but there were a few accomplices like Justin Dupree. He had the spare key to Mr. Smith's room. Mrs. Grote, who had stored her softball equipment and the murder weapon in Mr. Smith's room. And yeah, just those few people, the only one related to the actual murder.
And how did Miss Melito murder Mr. Amon?
Well, Miss Melito brought Mr. Amon into the downstairs stair room, and she beat him with a baseball bat until he just bled to death.
Right. And do you know what day the murder took place?
The murder occurred on Friday, May 18th.
I'm Sydney Roell, and this is the W.